Over the last 3 years, my savings and investment portfolio grew by £100,000, and I absolutely do not have a six-figure salary, and I pay my bills like a normal person do in London. Honestly, I think a lot of financial growth comes down to how I was raised and the Chinese money values that is ingrained in me. So if you want to find out how it happens, stay until the end. So I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and I moved to London when I was 27. On average, Hong Kong people saved about 30% of their monthly income, while the UK sits about 10%. Living in Hong Kong is not cheap either. And Hong Kong has been named as the 8th wealthiest city in the world last year. Having lived in both worlds, I observed something really interesting. If you're still in the pub here in London, people are usually talking about their weekends, sports, football, or any new series they're watching. But if you walk into a Tathan or a Chinese restaurant in Hong Kong, you're guaranteed to overhear someone talking about the stock market, the property price, or the absolute best deals you can get. So when I first came to London, I found everyone super interesting. We're finally not talking about money or work, and people actually have a life here. So one culture is more about enjoying the present, the other is obsessed with secure the future. So neither one is inherently better than the other. It is just a fundamental difference in our relationship with money. And I would say a lot of my money habits came down from my parents, who are very typical financially smart Hong Kong people. Today I wanted to share the 4 things they quietly pass it on to me, and I hope you will find something useful as well. My parents told me about the concept of money and money management when I was the last year in kindergarten or maybe first year in primary school. And that journey is actually start with the red envelope, or we call it 红包 in Mandarin or Lai Si in Cantonese. So these envelopes actually fill with lucky money. And kids receive this during Chinese New Year. It is our favorite traditions. So when I was still a baby, my mom opened a time deposit saving account for me. So every single lucky money goes straight into the account. She kept it safe until I was old enough, like 15, 16, and she transferred all the money to me. So I started learning to manage my own money. And seeing that number, the money I've been accumulating since I was a baby, was really exciting. And from that moment on, I just love watching the number grow. I think it was a weird obsession as a kid. I would rather put the money into the bank instead of buying toys. So by the time I hit university, I had a summer job and I was tutoring for some younger kids. So I kept a lot of my earnings into the account. There is a saying in Cantonese, and it's called 積少成多. It means accumulate the small to make many. By the time I graduated university, I've already saved £10,000. To me, that felt normal, but when I look at the data in the UK, I was shocked that childhood habits never left me. I've always saved at least 20% salary since my very first job, and today I put a minimum of £1,200 every single month into my stock and shares ISA. Here in the UK, you can invest up to £20,000 a year completely tax-free. And I try to mess it out whenever I can, because building a strong saving habit isn't just about having money sitting in your bank. It is about building your capital. If you don't have a capital and a safety net to survive, you cannot invest. And if you can't invest, you cannot make your money working for you. The second one is investing. Quick note, I'm not a financial advisor, so please just take this as a reference. Over 57% of adults in Hong Kong actively participate in the stock market. It is one of the highest investing rates in the world. And because of that, talking about stock is genuinely just normal dinner conversations. Which sectors is moving? What is worth investing? What is your portfolio looks like? It almost feels identical to the way people here talk about the Premier League. Growing up, I wasn't sure. I loved how money-focused everything felt, but it did make investing feels like normal people do, not just wealthy people or finance professionals. So when I got to university, I started learning more about investment. So I bought my first stock when I was 21. It wasn't with a lot of money, but I felt a lot at the time. I wanted to understand how it worked, and I had this wishful thinking that the money would just grow and grow and grow, and I can always just buy low and sell high. Like how hard it is really hard if you just look at that's the short-term result because it's basically just gambling. It was really terrible at first. The ever-growing dream crushed. It feels like every single stock I touch immediately drops. Like, come on. But I seriously needed that lesson. It taught me not to see investing as gambling, so I read more books. It helped me build their emotional stability to not be affected by the drops. This is a muscle you really need to build if you want to become a long-term investor. Because if you don't build that muscle, the moment the market takes a downturn, you will just panic sell. It became buy high, sell low. But of course, to build that muscle, you need to know what you are doing and what you are buying, and you are not just following everyone else. But today, I'm proud to say I've already built that muscle. Stock and shares make up to about 60% of my overall portfolio, and I have left my housing aside because it just gets more complicated. And a big part of the financial growth, like the 100,000K I mentioned, didn't come from me saving every penny. It started from starting early, staying consistent, and only buying what I know, and mostly just leaving it alone. And compound interest really did the heavy lifting. The third one is about debt. And I think this one doesn't get enough credit because it's not just about growing your money. It is also about not losing what you've already built. My parents are super against debt. I grew up watching how debt affects people. It's just not approved easily, truly. Especially when you tell the older generation, you will probably be disapproved. Because carrying credit card debt or using buy now pay later is often seen as a lack of self-control. It makes you lose face, not in a dramatic shouting way, but more in like a subtle, what the hell is this person doing way. But we're in the West, carrying debt is far more acceptable. People talk about it openly, and there are lots of buy now pay later's option. It's kind of linked back to my earliest observations that one culture is focusing on enjoying the present and the other is securing with the future. But a mortgage is a different story. That is considered a long-term investment, but borrowing to fund a lifestyle you can't currently afford. It is a massive no-no culturally. It is also one of the reasons why the buy now pay later companies struggle to get traction in Hong Kong. Because of my upbringing, I have never carried any single credit card debt. I've never seen this as an option. If I cannot afford it now, I just simply don't buy it. And the last one is the most personal to me. It is a concept called Kim. Google translates it as frugality, which makes it sound a bit miserable. But the philosophy behind it is more about showing respect to the things you already have. In our house, leftover food always goes straight into the fridge. And it will be the lunch for the next day, and skincare and makeup products always get used to the very last drop. If our clothes have a small holes, we always try to fix it instead of throwing it away. And because of that upbringing, I don't have a huge interest in buying luxury goods, but I still love fashion. When I buy something, I make sure they're more durable and I will wear it multiple times, or I will keep it in excellent condition so I can resell it later. But if I'm honest, I had a very complicated relationship with this mindset growing up. There was a version of me feeling it was scarcity, like I was never really allowed to enjoy things without quietly tallying up the price in my head. And I had carried a lot of shame about it for the longest time. I remember when my ex brought me to a really nice restaurant in Paris. Objectively, everything was perfect, but inside I felt deeply uncomfortable. I felt like I didn't belong there, like I was breaking some unwritten rules. I was so wrapped up by this anxiety. What shaped me over time was, or as I become more financially secure over the years, I felt I learned to enjoy and appreciate the experience I've got. It has become the perfect balance between the West and the East, knowing how to secure the future and also enjoying the present. So the £100,000, this is how it happened. The 4 things I mentioned didn't work in isolation. They work together. The financial literacy gave me the capital I need to invest, and the step stigma made sure I don't undo what I did, meanwhile enjoying the present. So none of this is remarkable on its own. Your first 100K is always the hardest, but after that, it just grew exponentially. I've always been very shy to talk about money, but if this is a conversation you're interested in, please let me know in the comment section. I still have a lot of things about money that I could share with you. And to help you get started on building your own capital, I have prepared a Notion template, which you can download in the description section. But if you want to see what my actual monthly expense look like living in London, you can watch this video next. And don't forget to subscribe me, and I will see you there.